The biggest paradigm-changing trend in Australian real estate, which we call the rise and rise of apartments, is confirmed by the latest price data from the usual suspects. And it's also reflected in our choices for the latest edition of our most popular report, the National Top 10 Best Buys Report. Now, the latest price data from CoreLogic shows that unit prices are rising faster than house prices. While news media, in its predictable fashion, focused on the perceived negatives in the CoreLogic Home Value Index published in October, my analysis of the figures is that they provide further evidence that rising demand for attached dwellings is creating outperformance on price growth as well. Now, Perth still leads on growth in house prices nationwide, but the numbers for growth in unit prices are considerably stronger, both for the past month, the past quarter, and the year to date. According to CoreLogic, Perth prices rose 1.6% in September for houses, but 2% for units. In the September quarter, Perth house prices increased 4.6%, but unit prices were up 6.2%. And for the first 9 months of 2024, house prices are up 17%, which is pretty healthy, but unit prices by more than 20%. And it's the same for one of the other hot city markets in Australia, Adelaide. House prices in Adelaide have recorded strong rises in the month of September, the September quarter, and the year to date, but unit prices have increased more in each of those timeframes. The price outcomes are even more emphatic for Brisbane. House prices rose 2.4% in the September quarter, but unit prices rose 4.8%, which is exactly twice as much. And the year-to-date growth numbers are 10% for houses and 14% for units. Now, in both Sydney and Melbourne, which have not been matching the smaller capital cities on price growth, the numbers are nevertheless stronger for units than they are for houses. And nationally, median prices grew 0.4% for houses, but 0.6% for units in September, while in the September quarter, houses were up 1%, but units by 1.2%. The differential is greatest in the combined regional markets, with units outperforming houses in the month, the quarter, the year to date, and in the past 12 months as well. That holds true for most of the individual state regional markets, notably Western Australia, New South Wales, and South Australia. In regional Queensland, where many regional cities have highly active markets, the numbers are fairly even. So overall, these numbers are the latest piece of evidence that the old paradigm of real estate, that houses always outperform units on capital growth, is changing, and in many locations has already changed. As we comment in the report that we recently published with the marketing company Newstar, the report we call the Rise and Rise of Apartments, there is growing buyer demand for attached dwellings right across Australia. Units now account for more than half of all sales in the Sydney market, and units also have growing market share in Melbourne, Brisbane, and Canberra as well. In the booming Perth market, where houses are no longer the cheapest in capital city Australia, following massive price growth recently, more and more buyers are pivoting to the more affordable and often better located unit products in that market. And now this compelling trend in national real estate is a big influence in our choices for the nominated locations of the new edition of National Top 10 Best Buyers. Many of the nation's strongest locations for unit demand are prominent in this report, as well as some of the most vibrant house markets in key locations across Australia.